Submission is not the enemy by Dunieka. A key factor to a healthy relationship. Women's issues regarding submission. If you are a woman reading this book, you more than likely view submission as this outdated, degrading, unnecessary, belittling term and practice that needs to be done away with forever. You most likely feel as though any woman that is in alliance with being submissive to her man or husband is either insecure, desperate for love, or completely unaware of her value. In your mind, only a woman that does not respect herself and notice her power as a woman would ever submit to her man in any capacity. You view submissive women as weak and inferior that need to get a grip on reality, because after all, no man is worth submitting to, not even your husband. Well, I'm here to tell you women that possess that mentality that you are absolutely wrong. And that's probably the reason why your relationships up to this point are either failing or have failed miserably. You don't realize that submissive women are not only the women that are being sought after by high caliber men, but that submissive women understand the power in being submissive. Submission is a powerful key component to a healthy relationship. It gives structure and balance to our unions by stripping away the power struggle and giving each other the opportunity to take direction and give direction respectfully and effectively. The problem is that many of us have the wrong idea of what submission is supposed to be in regards to a relationship, or we practice submission entirely wrong. Submission is not intended to be this competitive dictator type of dynamic, but rather a beautiful and harmonic dance between a couple in a strong, loving, healthy, beautiful union. A woman being submissive to her man shows that she understands his needs, loves him, and most importantly, trusts him to lead, teach, and guide her in the right direction. The issue comes into place when this dance that's supposed to be harmonic and beautiful turns into a battle of the sexes, where one wants to be the controller and rule over the other party. When this becomes the objective, the relationship is not healthy and is not displaying what submission is supposed to embody. Submission should not feel nor be forceful and degrading. It should feel and be effortless, harmonic, and complementary. Now, I know you are probably sitting there with your face frowned up thinking to yourself, does this chick even know what the definition of submission is? Because what she is describing is not that. In fact, you probably went to Google to back up your claim and saw the definition of submission as 1. The action or fact of accepting or yielding to a superior force or to the will or authority of another person. The word that probably stuck out immediately to you was superior, which left a bad taste in your mouth, further stating your claim of how I'm a Looney Tune that does not know that submission is a degrading thing in and of itself. But what if I told you that that's essentially what we have to do in our relationships in order to bring balance, structure, and order? Now, I'm not saying that a man is more valuable, important, and has complete control over his women, or vice versa. But I do feel as though we should be regarding each other in certain ways when it comes to our relationships, giving each other permission to take the lead when it better suits them, without resistance. Submission in regards to a relationship should reflect a man and a woman being able to take the lead and follow when need be, while respecting each other's roles and positions in their relationship. Any couple in a loving, healthy, strong, long-lasting relationship or marriage knows and understands that submission is not to be taken as a man being toxic and degrading to his woman, and making her feel as if she is not valuable and beneath him. Nor should a woman be doing this to her man. Instead, it is to be seen as a woman being able to cater to, follow the lead of, and go with the flow of a man of true value and substance that truly embodies what it is to be a leader, teacher, nurturer, provider, and protector. Now, I know you have a problem with the definition of submission listed previously, but let's go back and see how it can be applied to our relationships. Being able to be accepting and yielding to the suggestions or requests from your significant other is a great quality that one can possess. How toxic and dysfunctional would our relationships and marriage be if we met every request and every suggestion from our partner with resistance and force, and never was accepting or yielding to what they had to say? It would lead to constant clashing and arguments, and nothing would ever get accomplished. Thus, there is no need for us to feel that just because we are being receptive, understanding, doing what our partner would like from us, or what they may deem to be something of great value or benefit for us to do, somehow makes us weak and inferior. In fact, it not only makes our relationship stronger, but it also makes our partner even more loving and appreciative of us, and in turn makes them want to reciprocate and pour back into us. This is where that beautiful and harmonic dance that I keep referring to manifests itself into our relationship. When a man feels as though his woman respects, honors, and obliges to him, this creates a deeper and more loving connection that he has for his woman. This plays into his masculinity and gives him more sense of responsibility because he knows that he has a woman that trusts him and that is relying on him to make the right judgment calls. The only issue with submission is when a woman is trusting, yielding to, accepting, loving, and catering to the wrong man. What type of man should be submitted to? Ladies, I'm here to tell you all know that submission is not the enemy in your relationship. The enemy of your relationship is the quality of the man you are choosing to be submissive towards. That's deep. You cannot be submissive towards toxic, deadbeat men, then get upset when things start to crumble due to you feeling weak, used, and taken for granted. Before we give submissive qualities to a man, he must first show and prove to us his value. We cannot just be submissive to a man simply because he is a male that we just so happen to be with. In fact, if he is a man that is not worthy of submission, we shouldn't be with him, entertain him, or give him our time, energy, and attention in the first place. The qualities a man must possess in order to deem him worthy enough of a relationship, let alone submission, consist of leadership, trustworthiness, knowledge, wisdom, understanding, strength, power, nurturing, providing, protecting, teaching, self-discipline, good work ethic, organization, faithfulness, love, compassion, dominance, authority, intelligence, and etc. If a man does not have these qualities, he should not even be entertained. Too often, us women jump into relationships with men based upon his potential to embody certain characteristics versus what he is actively showing and proving to us. This is a setup for failure and disappointment because that man very well may never become the man that you need for him to be or embody the characteristics that a true leader, provider, and protector are supposed to have. As women, we must be wise enough to know and understand that all men are not the same, and to stop boxing them all in due to the poor treatment of the men we were once involved with. If you were previously in a relationship with a man that treated you badly, that you just so happened to be submissive to, the problem was not the act of being submissive. The problem was the poor quality man that you made the poor decision to be involved with in that way. And you must understand that poor quality men do not represent the whole. Thus, it is foolish and unwise to say that no man should be submitted to based upon the immature and hurtful actions of a handful from your past. I gotta take a sip for that one. I've heard the many arguments of women that feel that submission is a dangerous and foolish game to play. Many of them have valid points, but completely negate the fact that those men that it may be dangerous and foolish to submit to were low vibrational men that did not have the above mentioned qualities in the first place. If a man is being overly possessive, toxic, demeaning, controlling, or abusive in any way, shape, or form, he does not deserve the luxury of having a woman that is nurturing, loving, caring, or submissive to him, because he will do nothing but abuse it and use it against her. This is why it is very important for women to know who is worthy enough to be submissive to. Why we have problems with submission. Growing up, many of us women, especially black women, have never been exposed to a healthy relationship between men and women. In most instances, the male figure is completely absent or is present but does not showcase the leadership, provider, and protector role. This hinders women from being able to truly understand what position a man must play in their lives as women, and what traits a man must possess in order to be in their lives in the first place. Thus, we grow up thinking that the low-quality men are the ones that we are supposed to be involved with romantically and raise our families with, because those are the types of men that we were exposed to. This leads women into an even bigger issue of feeling the need to be leaders, providers, and protectors of their households and families, because the men they were exposed to were not handling their duties and obligations as men. This may force a lot of women into a more dominating role that they do not want to get out of, because deep down inside they do not trust their men to handle their responsibilities, make the right decisions, and lead them into the right direction. Due to this, many women may start to treat men like children, or warp our minds into being submissive to weak-minded men that cannot lead us. That brings me to the men. Men suffer from the same type of dilemma, only they are trying to emulate what they see and don't see from the men around them. Growing up, many men, especially black men, are constantly seeing men that are absent from the household, or they see men treating and or talking to women in disrespectful and degrading manners. They then internalize that and believe this is to be okay. This introduces into the young male's mind that it is fine for men to be absent and uninvolved with their families and to be weak or disrespectful towards women. Young men are not being shown or taught how to have leadership, provider, and protector type qualities from their poor upbringings, and are also being exposed to mothers and other female family members, playing a more powerful role, which can also add more confusion to the males as far as their position in a male and female relationship. Men and women are not on the same accord when it comes to the roles of what a man and a woman are supposed to demonstrate. This puts us at odds and makes us feel that we are in constant competition with one another and not compatible with one another. Men and women feeling the need to constantly compete and defeat each other makes it extremely difficult for us to understand one another and build upon solid, loving foundations. We need to go back to the drawing board and figure out what the rules and standards need to consist of for both men and women to collaborate effectively in a healthy relationship. We can no longer continue on with the destructive and divisive ways and actions of men against women and vice versa. Men with the wrong idea about submission. So often I hear toxic men talk about how women are beneath men and how women are supposed to obey and bow down to men, no matter what that man does or doesn't do for that woman. They don't understand that a man is supposed to take care of, provide, protect, nurture, and respect women in order to have a woman that treats him with respect and decency. Some men also don't understand that their views towards women are very degrading and surface level, which all assists in women feeling as though submission to men in any capacity is counterproductive. However, if there were both men and women to state and show that men and women are designed to love, respect, cater to, nurture, and work with one another as a team, a lot within our relationships could be resolved and repaired. See, submission is a collaborative effort by both the man and woman involved in the relationship. Submission is not something that is automatically granted to someone just because of their gender or position in one's life. It has to be earned based upon respect and love. When a man shows that he loves, respects, honors, and takes care of his woman, this will make his woman feel appreciated and valued. In return, that woman would want to be submissive and nurturing towards him. However, when a man is disrespectful, degrading, and or does not possess leadership type qualities, this makes a woman feel as though he is not someone to submit to. While submission is oftentimes regarded for women, there are times and places where men are to be more submissive to their women. Many men don't like to acknowledge this aspect of a relationship because it makes him feel inadequate or as though his masculinity is being stripped from him. That sentiment, however, couldn't be any further from the truth. The reality is, there will be times in relationships where a man would need for his woman to take the lead on situations where maybe she is stronger suited than he, and he will need for her to guide him into the right direction. There will also be times where the man must cater to and be more nurturing to his woman when the time calls for it, and he should not be reluctant to do so. Just as it should not be regarded as somehow weak, inferior, or degrading for women to be submissive to a good quality man. Men should not be considered to be any of those in regards to good quality women. Relationships are all about balance, and we should not be afraid to balance each other out by taking on certain roles at certain times. Although one may play a role more often than another, this still is a part of duality and a nice healthy balance between men and women. It's important for me to also point out that there should be no instance where both the man and woman are being submissive or dominant towards one another at the same time, as both of these would result in non-progressive behaviors and situations. If both the man and woman are being submissive to one another simultaneously, no one would know when to take charge and be proactive, resulting in stagnation and confusion. On the opposite end, if both the man and the woman are being dominant towards one another simultaneously, there will be a battle, which would lead to confrontation and friction, ultimately leading to a breakup. This is why it is very important for us to have a clear and concise understanding as far as balance in our relationships, to eliminate as much confusion and counterproductive behavior as possible. Establishing roles in the relationship. Now, I do personally feel as though the man should be in the more dominant role in the relationship majority of the time, because by nature, I feel that it is the role that is designated for him. A man by nature is a leader, provider, and protector, and by him being in his natural role/element, this will do nothing but bring forth the best attributes of his masculinity. Men being able to fully embrace and tap into their masculinity would result into women being able to fall in line by her tapping into and embracing her femininity, which would bring harmony and balance to the male and female interaction and exchange. A man must embody someone that has control and is able to take care of his household and family, which yet again will make his female counterpart fall in line by helping him to maintain the household and family and being of assistance. This dynamic gives a man a sense of power and purpose, which gives a need for that man in a woman's life. Women would then see that the man is providing her with love, stability, protection, comfort, and other things of that nature, which would give a woman a greater incentive to be submissive and make sure that she is taking care of the man that is taking care of her. However, a man cannot abuse his power and his authority over his women, or this will make her want to rebel against him and or leave. This is why respect and order in the relationship is greatly needed. Neither the man nor the woman should feel degraded, small, unimportant, and undervalued in the relationship. Both the man and woman should know that both of their positions are important and necessary for the relationship to thrive, grow, and evolve. When roles are established and the understanding and respect of the roles are made clear, this will eliminate any competition, confusion, or power trips. I know that there will be many independent women that don't need a man and plenty of weak-minded 50-50 beta males that will have a problem with what I said and as far as the structure of how the relationship should be, with the man being the provider and the woman being of assistance to him. But those of us that truly want healthy, long-lasting, peaceful relationships with order to them, Know and understand that this is a way to achieve such a dynamic. Men need to be in their natural roles as protectors and providers so that they can be the best versions of their masculine selves, and women need to be in the nurturing, supportive role to really be more in tune with their feminine selves. That was part one.